welcome you now to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. Today, we bring you another amazing solo episode. Now, if I was to tell you when you hear what the Global Latin Factor means to you, the Global Latin Factor, I'll give you a second. Now, if nothing came to mind, that's perfectly fine because it's a new term that we've been developing for the past 3 years. However, to me, what it means is the imprint of the Latino community, the Latino culture that has influenced the entire world in different spectrums, different sectors, such as food, with cacao, music, with reggaeton, salsa, and something that we're going to talk about today, and with different things. I mean, you can literally go to Japan and find a tacos place.
In steps Yamato Furuya, owner of Tres Hermanos Taqueria.
That's our cuisine. You know, there's different things, different elements, different imprints that it's been taking many years that the world, the entire world has embraced and has, I wouldn't say taken, but without even noticing, we're part of their culture now because of the many influences that we provide to the entire world. So that's what it means to me. And today we are following up with another previous episode that we have done before, Cumbia. So this is going to be Cumbia. The second part, we're going to dive just a little bit deeper. We're going to take you through a journey of different places, different things that we didn't touch up on the first one to kind of sort of give you a journey, a travel, and realize that Cumbia it's crazy. Like, it seems like it's a person that just took a journey through history, through different places, and just became what it is now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into Cumbia. Consider living in northern Colombia in the early 1900s. Now, the music you would be listening to at that time will be a combination of native flutes and African beats. And the hypnotic continuous rhythm. That's what you'll be expecting to see now. See this vividly that you're living at that time. Now, the fascinating thing about Cumbia is that it began as a courting dance and was created in the Caribbean coast of Colombia. Now, native women were courted by Afro-Colombian men who had been transported to the area as slaves. Now, what made Cumbia special was the blending of cultures. Yes, the blending of cultures. The indigenous cultures provided wind instruments such as the gaita, flutes, with a high pitch, nearly hypnotic melody to the heavy drum beats, while the African slaves brought their drums and rhythmic patterns. Yes. So those two cultures are merged together, come and just blend these two things, these two sounds. Together, they produce a powerfully resonant sound that was merging two realms, literally merging two realms in a country where both cultures face extreme adversity and traumatic things that were happening. Now, the courting and the dance serve as a means of fostering a sense of community. Now, if there was something that an escape, that was it. That was Cumbia. Imagine a small group of musicians playing flutes, drums, maracas, bringing people together with the beat simply that makes you dance. That is what Cumbia is. It's an amazing how something as basic as a dance or rhythm can convey such a profound, timeless tale of resilience and solidarity with people. It is amazing how something like that became. Cumbia began to spread throughout Colombia and eventually throughout Latin America. As the years passed, by the 1900s, Cumbia was the popular music at parties, celebrations, and get-togethers. That's right. So that is where now we're at in the 1900s, where you get to have a social event and Cumbia is it. Now, it moved from the shores inland, changing as it proceeded it became more adaptable as it traveled, blending in with many locals and customs. That's right. Again, like a person traveling, just gathering different things. Now, the introduction of cumbia to Mexico in the 1940s by a Colombian artist by the name of Luis Carlos Mayer Castanet was one of the major turning points for Mexico. He is compatible to the Johnny Appleseed of cumbia in Mexico. This is crazy, but it's that's who they giving credit to now. Cumbia was given a new home there, and with the assistance and the Mexican musicians began incorporating their own style. They incorporate a bit of their local music, the Mexican sound, and of course, that's what's happening in Mexico. And finally, we obtained the cumbia sonidera, which combines the electronic sounds and a touch of the Mexican taste and classic cumbia that you hear sometimes. Yes, so those two things became thanks to this one gentleman that arrived and introduced. Now, cumbia's journey only became more fascinating after that. For instance, Argentina created cumbia villera, a unique form of cumbia. It was this unpolished urban atmosphere that embodied the hardship and that was faced by the members of the working class. Now, this music sounds always tied to cultures and people that are coming up. Cumbia was taken a very different path by Peru. They produced chicha cumbia, transforming it into a psychedelic funky sound is unmatched by any other style of combining it with the Andes and electronic guitar elements. That is a different type of cumbia sound, but it still has the beat original of cumbia. Now, cumbia gained a fresh taste and twist with every location it visited, as we were gathering fragments of every culture it encounters, literally taking little bits of different places. It's a dynamic genre that has been influenced by its travels through Latin America, which is what makes it so unique. It makes it more unique than a lot of other genres out there because of what it has done and what it has created. Now, the idea that a single beat can inspire so many variations across so many countries is astonishing. For example, cumbia blended with pop and rock in Chile. There, the bands maintain the cumbia's positive vibe, while a hint of roughness, nearly to the point of rebellion, creates just a different type of sound in that area.
Traigo la contra, pura contra, para la mata mía.
Now, that's amazing, all right? Now, the music softened and took on a Caribbean vibe in Ecuador. The tropical impact is immediate, audible. You can hear it.
Siga, siga, siga bailando, siga, siga, con pedazo.
It's as if cumbia visited the beach and decided not to ever leave the beach. Who would not want to leave the beach? That's what it brought to Ecuador, that amazing sound. Now, then we have Tex-Mex cumbia.
Here we go, here we go.
Was incorporated in the United States, particularly in Texas, using the accordion as a defining instrument in cumbia. Cumbia blended with norteño and tejano. The music, that's just like what you get now with the cumbia, serve as the foundation. You get the blend of Mexican and American sounds because it served as the link between their ancestry and their current way of life. It has a whole different vibe that I can definitely know. You know that a lot of people in the United States listen to Tejano cumbia, which is amazing, right? It just something that is all the way of journey from Colombia, and now we here in the United States. Now, this is now a cultural gather than just music, moving while honoring the original beat of each nation, added its own imprint, transforming it into something of its own. It's a beat that moves and develops and changes with the way and time and the distance it travels. Now, the way that cumbia beats evolved into a sort of Latin American international language is quite amazing. Is the means for people to celebrate life even during difficult times, circumstances, and it goes beyond just dance or party music. It really does. Now, every nation and area that embraced cumbia created its own song, one that captures its heritage, joy, and hardship, right? So all these things are within the travels of cumbia. Cumbia is particularly the pulse of the people of Latin America. It is played in quinceañeras, it is played in weddings, it is played in neighborhood gatherings, and all over the place. Every weekend, if you have a party, most likely you're going to hear something like that. Now, it's moving while honoring the original beat. Each nation added its own imprint, transforming it into something that is its own in its own region. Argentina, Peru, Ecuador. It's great beat that moves and develops change. Like I said before, it really does. It really creates that. It's about happiness, resiliency, and the essence of belonging that are fundamental to our Latino culture. As you know, even now, it seems as though cumbia is a music that connects people from all over the world and serves as a reminder that our connections to go beyond just music, break boundaries, nationwide boundaries. You just doesn't need a passport. It just goes. Cumbia just goes. Now, that's something that began as the means of bridging two different cultures and evolved into something that is unique, that unites so many of us and its modern era. It serves as a reminder of our origin and the celebration of our history and diversity, and how the rhythm ties us all together, and how distance and time doesn't really matter when it comes to our culture. I sincerely do appreciate you participating in this amazing exploration of cumbia and the history of cumbia, the second part, and the influence of cumbia, which again originated in the coast of Colombia and is now heard in so many places all over the place throughout Latin America, Europe, Japan, Asia, you name it, is there. And one of the genres that really encapsulates what our continent of America is, right? So if you like this episode, please let me know by sharing, leaving a comment, leaving a review, or getting in touch with me directly. Send me an email. Explore all these many forms of cumbia by listening to some of the sounds, the songs, and the bands como Sonora Dinamita, Aniceto Molina, Los Ángeles Azules, and all kinds of other bands that are out there. Selena, which is a big influence, especially in the Tejano cumbia. Now, we wanted to do another episode of cumbia because the first one is doing amazing. But again, it's just wanted to give you a perspective as if you was a person and you were named cumbia and you just literally journey from the shores of Colombia all the way down to the inlands and make your way to South America, Latin America, to Mexico, and now all over the world. As I mentioned earlier, when you think of the global Latin factor, the imprint, this is one of the imprints and a great example of what I'm trying to express to you as far as what the global Latin factor is, what we have contributed, our cultures have contributed to the entire world. And I needed to do a second version of it because I think there was a little bit more to explore about cumbia and literally paint you a picture of how it traveled to different places without losing its core rhythm and still how much it was embraced by those particular places, whether it be Argentina, whether it be Chile, and they just made their own thing and just continue to travel. And sometimes we forget that even though something became or came from something, all of a sudden when it spread all over the place, it still has an origin of our Latino culture, our Latino community, and that's what it's all about. Okay, now, thank you so much again. Subscribe. Remember, subscribe to the channel, the Global Latin Factor Podcast. And if you are and have been supporting us and continue to support and like our videos, we thank you so much. Now, this was another episode, a solo episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that is the world. Till next time, bus. Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and check out one of the other episodes that we have prepared for you. Thank you very much. Till next time.
Walks like a pero but in fact is a flamingo coming to Havana and refactoring.